Me, 24F, and my BF, 28 meters, have been dating about 1 year. My boyfriend has an extensive sexual history, which I've come to accept. I have a smaller sexual past of my own, and I try to remind myself of that. I just got a new job in marketing, and I really enjoy it. I mentioned a woman I'm working closely with to my BF, and turns out he was FWB with her in the past. This really shocked me. I'm trying not to feel jealous, as I know my BF is so in love with me. But it's so hard seeing her every day now knowing he's been with my BF. Any tips on how to handle this? I want to keep my job and my BF. TDLR, my coworker slept with my BF in the past. It sounds like logically, you understand he had a sexual history before you, and don't have any real fears that he still desires this woman. Keep in mind that they ended their relationship, and no matter how much you might be playing up comparisons in your head, he chooses to be with you. At some point, you will just come to view her as a regular person you work with, a regular person he used to know, and she won't loom so large in your head. Honestly 10,000% this. It's in the past, and you clearly know you guys are solid. Don't let a random throw you off, queen. People are being quite mean lol, so let me be nice. He told you about her immediately, which speaks volumes to me. He cold just kept his mouth shut, but he respects you enough to keep you in the loop. How awkward would it have been if you became besties, then he told you? So to me, I see no worries, it was in the past, and he was very open and honest about it. The person I lost my virginity to over 5 years ago is my current boyfriend's best friend lol, but I legitimately could not tell you a single detail from our time together, because it meant so little to me. I know that's hard to grasp from the other side of it, but that's what helped my boyfriend get over it. How it came up was that I mentioned her name. He mentioned that he knew her, and I straight up asked if they have a history. He's told me in the past he'd always be honest about any questions I have about his history, because it initially bothered me a little. Clearly I'm still working on it, but thank you for your reply and insight. I'm trying not to feel jealous. What is there to be jealous of? But it's so hard seeing her every day now knowing he's been with my BF. One of the girls in my social group used to have a casual relationship with my now husband before he and I got together. I once had a really fun conversation with her when we both had a giggle about his super involved nighttime routine because she knew exactly what I was talking about. But beyond that, it's never something I really thought about with her. Everyone has a past. If you are now getting on with a woman your boyfriend used to sleep with, clearly he's a great judge of character. The issue isn't her, so long as your boyfriend isn't hanging around her. It's your jealousy, and you need to remember that he is allowed to have a past. It's tough, I know, but remember there's a reason he's with you and not with her. For all you know, maybe it wasn't so good and she was a placeholder, haha. You two can compare notes. Seriously though, the only way is to remind yourself that he is your boyfriend now, and he is with you, not her, for a reason. And then you just slowly get over it. You don't have to be friends with her or anything, just keep the relationship professional, and away you go. Compare notes. I'm dying. I should not be laughing as Op is struggling, but that was just too good, has to give props. What advice did you get when you posted this yesterday? Probably just go with that. Obviously she didn't get good advice, so she's trying again, or wants more opinions. It really isn't a big deal. As you get older, this may happen once or twice depending on the size of your city, shared hobbies and the industry you are in. They were FWB while you are in a relationship with him. He obviously cares more about you and sees you as a more compatible partner. Don't let the past eat up your future. However, if he begins treating you poorly or ignoring you in favor of her or asks you about her all the time, cut your losses and move on. Your boyfriend is no longer shagging her. He chooses to be with you now. So there is no need to be jealous. If anything, she should be jealous of you. Semicolon close bracket. I would honestly try to get to know the girl and befriend her at work. You may feel more comfortable once you get to know the girl and find out that she's a good person outside of her history with your BF. You shrug and move on. It really is that simple. Yay, you got him now. Why are you jealous of his one-time fling? Don't think about it too much. Has a 28-year-old man who I'm assuming must be attractive. That means somebody or somebodies has been with him long before you were even a thought to him. Maybe even had his heart, broke it, or did disgusting freaky things to his privates that he will never forget and sometimes reminisce on even when he's with you. I say all that to say, just get over it. You're a bit young, so I understand the anxiety. But as you get older you realize two things. 1. People you know will die. 2. People you know will have fucked or are still fucking each other. The world isn't as big as you think. I've sat at a table with multiple women that I've had sex with in my past while my GF was sitting next to me. She knew who they were to me and I made it clear that that's who they ever were going to be. It's okay to be insecure about this, but just remember you're not the fling she is. Don't bring up your BF. And if she does, change the subject. Enjoy your new work. This is a horrible comment. Why does his sexual history bother you? What concern underpins your feelings on this subject? I used to feel the same about guys I dated, so I'll share what worked for me. I sat down and figured out why it bothered me so badly. It tied back to several insecurities about myself and my perception of my own attractiveness via the other women from his past, and fear that if he slept with them before it was somehow more likely he'd sleep with them again. It boiled down to weird jealousy, and it made me miserable and suspicious of said dude. You've got to move past this. Jealousy kills trust, which is the lifeblood of any healthy relationship. I'd suggest therapy, which should help you process your feelings on this and move past them. For what it's worth, I did move beyond my own jealous tendencies and am married to an awesome guy with a sexual history similar to your BF. Because I trust him and love him, it does not bother me at all. It's lovely and I feel safe. I hope you get that too, sister. Get over it. This woman was just working at her job until you showed up. A positive way to look at things. The coworker apparently did not got selected by your BF to be in a serious relationship, so you are the one with a prize. However, you cannot have your cake and eat it. Thus, if this is affecting you negatively, you should probably find another job, especially if she were to rub it in your face with malicious intent, which also proves to an extent she really wanted your BF back then. Lol. I've dated a guy before who slept with one of my close friends. It was a shock for sure, and for a few weeks it was weird, and I needed to process it for myself. For them it was years ago, but for me it was fresh. My best advice is just to give yourself time to process it and feel everything. It took a while, but over time it wasn't weird to me anymore, and I sort of forgot about it. If someone told you this, what advice would you give them? But it's so hard seeing her every day now, knowing he's been with my BF. Why? It happened in the past. It has no effect on the present. She's not going to ask you to compare notes. If you have trouble knowing about your partner's past connections, you can ask him to not inform you about them should any situation like this arise again. There's no issue here except for how you feel about it, which is distressing you. So, you can do standard things like try to distract yourself from thinking about it. Or when you feel strongly distressed, remind yourself that you feel this way, but it's just a feeling, and it isn't based on anything meaningful, and it will pass. If you generally get jealous in inappropriate situations, you might want to discuss that with a therapist. Jealousy can be a sign of insecurity, and you might want to think about why you feel insecure. You seem to feel your relationship is good, and if that's not the trigger, you may be generally insecure and fearful about relationships. Perhaps overly afraid of abandonment or similar. Working out the details of what and why would be something a therapist could help you with. I'm sorry, this is an incredibly tense situation. I've had similar scenarios where the behavior of the other person was impeccable and things stabilized, but it takes serious social skills on their part. When jealous, what I try to do is eat the cream pie. It's okay to feel jealous, as long as you don't let jealous feelings control your decisions. So some googling on dealing with jealousy and learning how to manage your feelings of jealousy. It might help to remind you that everything in your so's past led him to you, and vice versa. If he had never hooked up with this girl, or the girls he had, he may never have met you, or wanted to settle down with you. Plus, experience is a good thing in a relationship, no matter what anyone else may say. You know that your BF loves you, so there's insecurity there. Give it a few weeks. If you're having a hard time getting over it, therapy might be a good option for you. Because pure jealousy is usually an insecurity or bad learned behaviors from past relationships that can be hard to get over on your own. I wouldn't hold it against either of them. It sounds like your partner was quite upfront and respectable about the matter. If she starts to treat you any differently because of this, then I would distance myself from her. In the meantime, try to be cordial. Close bracket. IDK why everyone in here is saying she should talk to her about him and laugh about things he does. Obviously she's not going to do that as she's already uncomfortable. Also everyone in here is being mean to Opus. Hey op, I would try not to let it bother you and keep things strictly business when you're at work. Don't really talk to her about your personal life otherwise. When you mix business and personal that's where things get weird. I completely disagree with the people saying they chat and laugh with their ex-flings or whatever. That is so uncomfortable. I would honestly say, business as usual. Go there and do your job as it is your dream job. Keep your personal life completely separate. I would also say, if there is compliant get-togethers where you bring a +1 try to enjoy yourself. You are not wrong to feel weird. I live in a small town. My boyfriend grew up here, 48. I'm not sure how many women he has slept with but one is a decently good friend. Another is a really good friend and I know of several more. It's just life. Does the girl know he's your boyfriend? It'll feel disgusting for a few days or weeks, then get less impactful until it doesn't bother you at all one day.